following morning, the Supercrew met at their usual spot, an abandoned treehouse hidden deep within the woods behind Brightwood. It was their sanctuary, a place where they could talk freely without fear of being overheard. Today, the treehouse seemed even more significant, as if it, too, were a part of the mission they had undertaken. As the sun's rays filtered through the trees, casting a warm glow on the wooden planks, the friends gathered in a circle, the ancient book they had found at the library placed carefully in the center. "We have to figure out how this crystal of eternity works," Lily said, her voice filled with urgency. The book mentioned something about it having the power to unbalance the world, but it didn't go into much detail. Emma, who had been reading the book late into the night, nodded. "There's more to this than just the crystal itself. It's connected to something called the balance, which seems to be a force that keeps everything in our world in harmony. If the crystal's power is misused, it can tip this balance and cause all sorts of chaos. Natural disasters, conflicts, even time itself could be affected. So basically, if the bad guys use the crystal, we're in big trouble," Jake summarized, leaning back against the wall. "Exactly," Emma confirmed. "But here's the thing. The book also talks about the Guardians, a group that was supposed to protect the crystal and make sure it was never used for evil. They were the original keepers of balance." Max frowned, deep in thought. "So if the rogue group that stole the crystal is connected to the keepers of balance, then maybe they were supposed to be the Guardians, but something went wrong. They could be using the crystal for their purposes now." Mia, who had been sketching a new drawing, looked up. "What if we try to contact the Guardians? If they're still around, they might be able to help us." "That's a great idea," Noah agreed. "But how do we find them?" The friends fell silent, each trying to come up with a solution. After a few moments, Lily spoke up. "The book mentioned a place called the Nexus of Balance. It's supposed to be a hidden sanctuary where the Guardians would gather. If we can find the Nexus, we might be able to find the Guardians, or at least clues about what happened to them." "Do you think it's in Brightwood?" Jake asked. "It could be," Max replied. "But it could also be anywhere in the world. The Nexus might not even exist in our reality." Noah stood up, pacing as he thought. "We have our powers now, right? Maybe we can use them to find the Nexus." The group exchanged glances, each of them silently agreeing that it was time to test the limits of their abilities. They had only just begun to understand their powers, but there was no turning back now. "We can try," Emma said cautiously, "but we'll need to focus, and we'll need to work together. Our powers seem to be linked somehow. Maybe if we combine them, we can get a sense of where the Nexus is." They moved the book aside and sat in a circle, closing their eyes to concentrate. Each of them focused on their unique abilities, feeling the energy within them begin to build. Lily felt a warmth spreading through her chest, the familiar sensation of her healing power ready to be called upon. Max clenched his fists, feeling the strength within him grow. Emma's mind raced, her foresight sharpening as she envisioned possible futures. Jake concentrated on the invisible shield he knew he could create, while Mia's imagination ran wild, her fingers tingling with the power to bring her drawings to life. Noah, feeling the ground beneath him, connected with the elements, his breath steady as he summoned the wind, the earth, and the water. As their powers reached their peak, a soft light began to glow in the center of their circle, growing brighter with each passing second. The air around them hummed with energy, and a feeling of connection washed over them, linking their minds and hearts. Suddenly, the light flickered, and a vision appeared before their eyes. They saw a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains, shrouded in mist. In the center of the valley was an ancient temple, its stone walls covered in vines and symbols. The Nexus of Balance. The vision faded, and the light disappeared, leaving the friends breathless but determined. "It's real," Mia whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "The Nexus is real. And we know where it is," Noah added. "We need to get there before the rogue group does." Lily stood up, filled with a renewed sense of purpose. "We don't have much time. Let's pack what we need and head out as soon as possible. This could be our only chance to stop them." The Supercrew quickly gathered supplies: food, water, flashlights, and their most treasured items, things that would remind them of home as they embarked on their dangerous journey. They knew the path ahead would be difficult, but they also knew they couldn't turn back now. As they made their way out of the treehouse and into the woods, the friends couldn't shake the feeling that their every step was being watched. The shadows seemed to move with them, and the air was thick with tension. Unbeknownst to them, the rogue group had already set their plans in motion. They were closer to the Nexus than the Supercrew realized, and the race to reach the ancient sanctuary had begun. But the Supercrew had something the rogue group didn't: a bond that could not be broken, and a belief in the power of friendship and trust. With each step they took, they grew stronger, more united, and more determined to protect the world from the impending danger. The secrets of the Crystal of Eternity were beginning to unravel, and the Supercrew knew that their mission was only just beginning.